Testing 1, 2. Is this thing on? I hope so. Man, it was hard to figure out what to wear for this first episode. So much pressure. And you know what? I decided it didn't matter because I'm just going to be sitting here in my basement anyway, and you guys get to see whatever it is I'm wearing, whatever day I decide to record these things. So why am I doing this? Why am I podcasting? Well, I like connecting with the community in this way. The more I did it starting last year, the more I loved it. I've started a personal podcast. I've got this podcast now, and I'm excited to tell all the stories and everybody's stories. And the most fun is jumping down the rabbit hole. So I'm super excited about that part. I mean, we'll have topics and we're going to dig into community in lots of different ways. That's what I'm looking forward to the most on the podcast. Most all y'all probably know me already, but for those that don't, or for those that haven't heard my story around community, my name is Bobby Small, and right now, just as officially a few months ago, I'm the Community Strategy Director for Dynamics User Group, which is also called Doug, if you haven't heard that before. And I'm here to connect with community in lots of different ways. Any way I can think of at the end of the day. It's kind of a green field, and I'm going to be out there pursuing all the ways that I can connect with what I'll call the adjacent community, folks that may not know about what's going on in the Dynamics 365 community. We've got one of the greatest. I mean, I don't know empirically if that's true, but I feel like it's true. Like when you look out there and you see what's going on and, on LinkedIn, I know there are big conferences like Salesforce and SAP, but I don't think they have the constant in-depth connections that we do in the Microsoft community. And so I'm excited to keep introducing more and more people to that because I think we've got a lot of room for growth. What makes me qualified to do this? Nothing, not one single thing, but I love doing it. And, starting back in 2003, when I was at a company that decided to implement Dynamics AX 3.0, was my journey. That was the beginning. That was my first step on the path. And I spent a number of years learning to be a functional support person, also taking on other pieces of the IT side, but focusing a lot on the ERP. Started developing. I was an X++ developer for much of my career, starting in 2007 and all the way through to 2020. And later on took on the role as IT director and then vice president of information systems. And it was at that point that I when I took over the department, that I wanted to focus on community. I knew there was a community. I went to my first summit in 2010, in Las Vegas. And I was hooked. I was hooked on community at that point. Found out there was local community going on and attended my first local meeting in 2013. Small group. They invited me and my coworker and another person that was there to be a part of the leadership. It was pretty much the room. So they invited the room to be a part of the leadership. But we grew this thing to a pretty good regular group that was meeting quarterly. And of course, the pandemic took that down a notch or two. So be it. That's what happens. But the fun part for me was I left the company I was with in 2020. I'd planned to leave in 2019, so it wasn't pandemic related. Just happened to coincide. So I wasn't part of the Great Resignation or whatever they were calling that. But it just happened to, be a coincidence. But starting in March and all the way through to August, I still held on to the community through the virtual. Helped coordinate a virtual meeting for the local folks here in Colorado. Got involved in some Canadian virtual group that was going on, helped with a hackathon. It was just kind of any way I could stay connected to the community. And it was probably about this time that I realized that this was a big part of my life and I didn't want to give it up. I was glad to have been able to find a job back in the Dynamics industry with a partner. And that partner also was really into community. So it made my transition really easy. So I get to keep my job and community with this partner and continue to go to events um, locally in Colorado, get to keep fostering this community here, growing this community again, but also get to go travel some for bigger events like DynamicsCon, also to other local events. I just continue to gravitate towards this community and wanting to serve it like 110% of my time. And so earlier this year, so after 4 years in the partner channel and working to get to understand Microsoft and get to know those folks and get to know the community at large, the ISVs, and working to strengthen the community for my partner, just decided I wanted to do it full time. So that's how I ended up at Doug. It's exciting to have this be a 100% part of my life now and my career. And yeah, couldn't be happier. Also time for me to have my Jerry Maguire moment. I'm taking my shot with the community. We need more users. So that's my number one goal, is to figure out how to engage, like I said, in these adjacent events or some low hanging fruit, even, talking to companies that are already coming to events. And maybe they're sending one or two people, but we know these companies have lots of people there. How do we help them engage those other folks? Because not only does it serve the greater community, it serves their own internal community as well. I mean, they get to share more about what they're learning, what they're seeing, how they're connecting and networking, and the opportunities that provides. So there's that low hanging fruit of helping the users that are already coming expand that within their organizations. Working with the partners and ISVs to help them stay engaged and to also strengthen their commitment. I mean, there's so many great partners out there, like Ellipse, like other partners out there that are going to these meetings and engaging. But can we kind of just flip this so that it's a challenge in not just attending, but making it part of the DNA of the company, that when they're talking with customers and their own internal people, that, hey, community is great, and here's the multitude of reasons why. And if you need help, convincing or just listing these things out, that's what I'm here for. Happy to figure out how we do this together to get more people excited and passionate about this. So it's not just, oh yeah, it's one person going, but it's, man, if you're not going to community events, you're crazy. We need you there. We love to have you there. And so kind of breaking that barrier of inviting more users from that ISV partner side. When you think about community, you want to think about why you're going to the events. And if we're going to these events to learn and to network and to be with each other and build relationships, then you can stop worrying about the other things that people worry about, which is losing customers or basically that, losing customers. I think we get our heads around community is here for us all to grow, and not for any other reason than that. Then it makes it easier to invite people, it makes it easier to grab it around and give it a big fat hug 100% all the time. So that's the next goal. Number one, get more users wherever we can find them. Number two, break down whatever barriers we can and make it more comfortable and more exciting for everybody to be there, from partner to ISV to user. And not everybody's going to do it. We got to find our people. We know they're out there, and it's going to be exciting when we do find them. And again, if we can build this, 25%, 50% growth over what we've got now, we're still really only scratching the surface of all the people using the products. If you think about, Dynamics 365 and BC and how fast it's growing, and F&O and CE, still a ton of great folks out there in the GP world that are going to be in the community for a long time to come, and still supporting those folks. Our platform and Copilot and AI, it's just, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and we've got room to grow this. And when we do, high tides lift all ships. It's going to be just an amazing experience, regardless of what event you attend, whether it's local, whether it's regional, whether it's national or international. There's so much activity going on right now globally. That's super exciting to see. This product, all the suite of products is just so popular and such a big part of organizations around the world. It's fun to get this going, globally as well, and get everybody involved, because it is a huge global community. Attend a virtual and you'll see the global presence that's on board at these events. It's just amazing. So that's what this podcast is about. That's one of the aspects of doing this, is to be able to add another layer in, be able to connect with the community in a different way. Much like today's episode, it's going to be unfiltered, unscripted. Maybe it's a topic, maybe it's a couple topics, maybe it's just myself, maybe it's a couple people. But the goal is to tell a story in a different way, to not be afraid to go off script and go down those rabbit holes and just see what comes about. I think when you get smart people and passionate people in a room talking about something they're passionate about, great things come about. And that's what I'm excited to do here on what we're calling the Community Dig. And if you've never named something like this, marketing folks, you're with me 100% right now. I know it. If you're looking to name something, if you're trying to figure out what to call something, oh my God, what a shit show that is. That's a slog. I got to tell you, it took me upwards of 2 weeks to figure out what to name this podcast and what the logo was going to look like. And praise be to the marketing team at Doug and Lauren and Ryan and all the folks there that were helpful in helping me craft this logo and this name. Ryan Harris came up with the name. It wasn't my favorite out of the gate, but it stuck with me. And the more it stuck with me, the more I loved it. And I'm now in love with the Community Dig. It just has so many layers. It has community in the title, which is number one, community. It gives us the indication that we will be digging into topics and learning about people, and just some fun pun play for those dad joke enthusiasts out there. We'll be working that angle all series long for sure. I'll be calling it all my dad joke aficionados out there in the world, men, women, anybody, just gender agnostic dad jokes. They're just corny jokes, right? And that's what we'll be looking for. Grab a shovel and join us. What can we cultivate together? Any number of puns. I'm excited to get those out there as well. I'll be digging around the internet. I can't even see the word dig now and not think about how much fun I'm going to be having on this podcast with the community and with y'all. So starting today, as we're dropping this podcast, and we've already got our first season set out. We've got our guests lined up, a lot of folks from the community that you'll recognize, some that maybe you haven't seen out there as often, but just ready to tell some great stories and ready to really rock this community with some fresh content and in a fresh way. And so we're starting today, and every week you'll be seeing a new episode. You'll have links below in the comments and this post to be able to follow us, or they may be above me. I don't know where they are. They're somewhere around here. Just look around. You'll see them. Links to follow us, links to subscribe. We'll be out there on all the channels to look at me if you want to on YouTube, or you can just listen on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get podcasts. It'll be out there to consume. And heck, man, I may be doing live stuff. I mean, I'm excited. I'm open for ideas. If you've got them, send them my way. If you're looking for a topic or a season, if you will, of something, if you will, with those quotes, suggest it. I'd love to hear from you. I mean, I'm trying to make this a real community event, and one that I'll enjoy doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy listening to and enjoy consuming. So it's the Community Dig. It's part of Doug, and we're super excited to bring this to you. And I'm humbled to be, again, making this my career, to serving the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform community at large. I couldn't ask for a better opportunity, and I couldn't ask for a better group of folks to do it with. So I look forward to seeing you out there at live events, virtual events, on LinkedIn, and looking forward to hearing from all of y'all when we get together. Okay, let's just take it down a notch for a second and talk about something super serious. Who knows what EDI is? EDI. That's E period, D period, I period. That's electronic data interface, interchange, something. It's complicated, and I'm going to tell you for reals, 100. I had to implement EDI 2017, and probably one of the most complex and intricate processes I've ever done. I did a lot of customization, a lot of ISV work, and man, EDI was tough. It's huge. But my friends at True Commerce can make this a lot easier for you. They are standing by right now. Reed Houston, great dude, community guy who just loves the community, loves what he does, has been doing EDI for years. And he's going to give you the straight shit, 100. I mean, they've been helping customers for years to scale faster, to mitigate risk, and to increase efficiency. I mean, this is their mantra for this year going forward. I mean, they got a true end-to-end solution that's integrated in Dynamics, and they're just passionate folks around. If you're thinking about EDI, you got to think True Commerce, and you got to think of my friend Reed and give them a call. Look them up on LinkedIn, however you want to contact them. Contact me, I'll put you in touch, but give them a shout out. Wickety whack, dig. Not bad for a first episode. I'm excited. Kept it under 20 minutes. For just me, that's pretty good. Because I got a big mouth and I could keep talking forever. It can be like a positive and a negative. For the dig, I think it's gonna be positive. I think the next couple of episodes are really gonna fly. Probably a little longer. So be prepared. You could listen to them in chunks. You know how it goes. But listen. Dig out. I don't know about you, but when you tell people you're with Doug or you're part of Doug or you work for Doug, the first thing they ask is like, who is Doug? And I got to tell them I haven't actually met Doug. I've invited him on the podcast. I'm hoping he shows up. That's all I'm saying.